Hi guys, welcome to the Wrestling Retrospective, and in today's video we're going to be doing something a little bit new on the channel, and I'm going to go back and reviewing Backlash 2004 in the Wrestling Revisit. And yeah, this is going to be a series of videos where I go back and watch pay-per-views from the past, whether they're relevant to coming up pay-per-views like this one with Backlash, or just random ones in general. But yeah, do put down in the comments below any pay-per-views you'd like me to go back and watch. I'm kind of staying with WWE between 2001 and 2019, just so there's like obviously there's a lot of very good pay-per-views between that point, but it's where most of my knowledge lies as far as like pandemic and post-pandemic, but I feel like they're like too recent, if you will. But yeah, let's get into the video. So, first up on the card, we had Shelton Benjamin defeating Ric Flair in a match that was actually fine. Flair's like 50 odd at this point, so you gotta kind of cut a little bit of slack. But Shelton looked great in this one. I completely forgot, like, at the time, Shelton Benjamin had 2 wins over Triple H, you know, pinning him in a roll-up and getting a count-out victory. But yeah, how Shelton didn't become a top star, especially around this point, I have no idea. But no, they both played the old guy, like the slow old guy versus the quick young guy story really well throughout the match. Flair doing all the delay falling is really funny, and like I don't think there'll be a time where that isn't funny, where he kind of falls kind of forwards but also backwards. It's really weird, but yeah, I find that funny every time. And yeah, I thought this was a huge win for Shelton Benjamin. Again, like a shame nothing really came of it in the long term for Shelton, but yeah, it was a solid match to start the pay-per-view. Shelton looked great, and obviously getting a massive win over the legendary Ric Flair is obviously a massive way to start a pay-per-view. Following that, Jonathan Coachman defeated Tajiri in, well, a match that I did not expect to see on the show. I didn't look at the card beforehand. I just know that I remember enjoying Backlash 2004 at some point in the past, so I thought I could revisit it here, but for a video. And yeah, no, it was really weird. Coach was doing like legit wrestling moves. He was doing arm drags. He was trying to go for submissions and stuff like that. It was kind of weird and very unexpected to see Coach doing that. I like the story of Coach kind of going after Tajiri's like hurt leg after he kicked the post, avoiding a roundhouse kick from Tajiri, and yeah, he dogged it really well. He was like doing legit, I said, like legit wrestling, like targeting the leg, making sure he was hurt and all that kind of stuff. Tajiri did eventually get back into it. There was a point where Coach was stuck in like a tree of woe, but his front was facing the turnbuckle, and Tajiri did this brutal double basement dropkick to the back of his head, and it looked awful, like genuinely, like looked really bad. They even did like a slow motion replay, and like he definitely connected with it. But yeah, Coach winning is a crazy decision. Like Tajiri is like a Japanese wrestling legend, and yeah, having Coach get the win here is crazy. It was by cheating. I forgot what they called him at the time. I know him as Lance Cade. I think it was Garrison Cade or something like that at the time. They came in and interfered on Coach's behalf, and Coach got the roll-up win. But yeah, no, I thought this match was like way better than, like, if you saw Coach versus Tajiri, you'd probably not think much of it. But it was actually pretty decent, to be fair, which is very surprising. But yeah, as I said, really mad to see that Coach got a win over Tajiri in what was a pretty okay match. After that, Chris Jericho defeated Christian and Trish Stratus in a 2-on-1 handicap match, and it was actually a pretty good match, to be fair. Like, obviously Chris Jericho and Christian are like arguably the best, or I don't know, they're just 2 great wrestlers, so of course they're going to put a good match on. I think having Trish in there kind of helped the story in the match. I liked how even with Trish distracting Jericho was outsmarting Christian and countering all the like cheating he was trying to do for the first parts of the match. He kind of saw everything coming and knew that they were going to use the 2-on-1 advantage, and yeah, he didn't let it get on top of him. But yeah, I mean, like I said, the Trish element played really well here. I feel like, you know, she was only getting in the ring when she had to, and as soon as like Jericho kicked out, you could see the genuine fear on her face, even though like she probably felt perfectly safe in the ring with those two. I think it played really well. Having the finish be Jericho sending Christian into Trish and then I can't remember if it was tap out or pin, but either way, Jericho finished the match by taking Trish out by using Christian, so there wasn't a disqualification used, and then pinning Christian I thought worked really well. I at first thought that Trish was going to take the fall here just because it would make Christian look safer and it wouldn't look as bad because she's a woman, essentially. You know, at the time, that's kind of how it was. But no, I thought as a match overall, it was actually pretty decent, and again, like a surprisingly good match for a time where, like, on paper this really wouldn't be seen as much of a match because of like just the 2-on-1 element to it. 2-on-1 handicap matches aren't really known for being the best matches, but Christian and Jericho made this work really well, and it was for the majority it was just a single sort between those two, which of course is never going to be bad. So yeah, everything works really well here, and yeah, as I said, it was a pretty decent match. Following that, Victoria defeated Lita to retain the Women's Championship in what was a great match, especially for like at the time and the time that they were given as well. I thought the chemistry between these two was really good. They seemed to link together really well. Everything was very fluid between the two of them. I think the pairing of Victoria and Lita is kind of slept on a little bit. These two had some very good matches in the past. You know, I think back to this match, the steel cage match they had, the first ever women's steel cage match between these two. And yeah, I thought, especially as I said, especially for the time than this was really good, and those two showed out really well. And like, though it was particularly short, you know, which is to be expected again because of the time that it was at the time. But no, I thought that Lita's escape from the Widow's Peak, I believe, Widow's Bell, whatever, you know, Victoria's finishing move, she like reversed out of it, was really good. I thought that Lita had the match won after the Twist of Fate, but that wasn't the case, and then Victoria won with a roll-up, which isn't the best way to finish a match, but I felt like, you know, as a match, it was quite good for the women. And then we had the post-match attack from Molly Holly and Gail Kim, which then makes, you know, even though they're both babyface going into the match, it makes them both look babyface afterwards as well. There's no like case of one looks weaker than the other because Holly and Gail Kim attacked them after the match, setting up, I assume, a future women's title match between Holly and Victoria. So, but yeah, overall, I thought this was great. I thought that Victoria and Lita worked together really well here, and I feel like, as far as like people looking back, people don't talk about the pairing of these two enough. After that, Randy Orton defeated Mick Foley in a no-holds-barred match to retain the Intercontinental Championship in what was by far match of the night. I think this is a fantastic match. It's in my top 5 WWE matches of all time. It's in my top 5 matches overall in wrestling of all time. From start to finish, this was so good. The fact that Foley came in just fully balls to the wall, swinging at Randy Orton, and he's having to use the bin to avoid getting hit by the barbed wire bat. Orton looked like a megastar after this match, which I know a lot of people have said in the past, but yeah, Foley made him look really great here. I feel like Foley had the match won multiple times, but Orton persevered and kind of showed that resiliency after going through so much to get the win. Took a ton of punishment throughout, and yeah, it's kind of like a classic Foley match at this point. You know, just the way that he has such violent tendencies in all these violent matches is why I love him so much, is why he's one of my favourite wrestlers of all time. But yeah, like, you know, you guys know me, you know that I love the violence, love the blood and all that kind of stuff, and the image of Randy Orton when he first gets opened up and there's just blood pouring down his face, I feel like he's one of them cold images, or images that go hard, if you will. But yeah, the RKO and the barbed wire to finish the match was brutal. The reversed RKO into the thumbtacks was worse than I first imagined, worse than I first thought, because not only was there pin tacks all over his back and his trunks, but they're also all over his hands and his arms as well. It was awful looking. But yeah, no, for me, like, this is just one big positive after another. It's a fantastic match. It doesn't really like have any dull moments in it. Like, even with Bischoff coming out and telling him that he couldn't set the barbed wire bat on fire, like, it doesn't hinder the match at all, doesn't stop the pacing of the match and the momentum of the match. And yeah, everything about this was just so good. Honestly, I'd definitely go check this one out if you've got Netflix, and you know, you can go check it out because it is so, I mean it might even, I think it's free on YouTube to watch, so yeah, definitely go check it out. As I said, it's one of my favourite matches of all time, so yeah. Add to that, the Hurricane and Rosie defeated La Resistance in a match that was very mid, it was very short. Hurricane had a really good showing though. He was like jumping and flying around, like really showing his athletic ability like all over the place. He was actually had a very good showing in the very short match this was. Hurricane's mask came off like near the end of the match, like just randomly. I think he did a move and his mask just, it looked like it was an accident and the accident just flew off. But it's hard like to follow the match between Orton and Foley. I feel like the fans were pretty dead after that one and they were like all worked up after that match, so yeah, it was very quiet as far as fans go. It felt very much like a piss break match, but yeah, like it was definitely just to like help the fans recover after the Foley Orton match. Eugene randomly came out to the ring and started like, he was just like high-fiving fans and stuff until he got in the ring and then started running the ropes randomly, and really glad to come and get him out. I think he caused a distraction which then, you know, caused the finish of the match. I say the action like pretty much got ignored once Eugene came out. Like Hurricane, I mean the two tag teams carried on the matches they normally would, but like the camera was constantly cut into whatever Eugene was doing, which obviously isn't great as far as like, you know, trying to get these two tag teams over. But yeah, how this made pay-per-view, I have no idea. I don't know what the thinking was behind it, other than to help the fans recover after the no holds barred match. But yeah, so this match wasn't particularly any good. Hurricane and Rosie got the win. Eugene was just there. It was really weird, but yeah, no, it was what it was. It was just a time filler, if anything. After that, we had Edge defeat Kane in an overall was a decent match. You know, it's kind of what you'd expect out of these two WWE greats, I guess. Like, it really seemed a bit weird. From what I could tell, Edge is kind of in a between point between being babyface and coming back from an injury and then turning heel in like late 2004, early 2005 when he starts going towards Money in the Bank and World Championships. Mainly because like he was cheating, he cheated to win. And he was kind of using heel tactics, but then he was a babyface, but then they were in Canada, so of course he was a babyface. Or like getting big reactions as far as like cheers go. And yeah, like from the promo package as well, it seemed like Edge was the face going in, but he was doing very heel stuff like to get the win over Kane. And yeah, it was kind of weird. Like for me, like it felt more like this match was only on the card to get Edge on because it was in Canada. And that was it. So they just threw in with someone randomly. And obviously Kane's one of the greats to have again, just a random feud against. So it made perfect sense that that would be the case. But yeah, it kind of lacked a story. It lacked a reason for us to care about this match. And that kind of took away from the match a fair bit. Like I said, the match itself, like if you just took it for just being a match, was absolutely fine. As I said, these two are two of the most reliable people WWE had and would have for a long time. So it makes perfect sense why they just stick these two together for the time being. But yeah, it kind of just felt like it was to get Edge on the card just because it was in Canada. And finally, in the main event, we had Chris Benoit defeat Shawn Michaels and Triple H in a WrestleMania rematch to retain the World Heavyweight Championship. And this was great too. Like, this was probably the second best match of the night, but it was very close behind Orton and Foley. I thought all three guys clicked really well here, and the pacing of the match was done really well. You know, those moments where it was just Benoit and Triple H, just Benoit and Shawn Michaels, and then just Triple H and Shawn Michaels. It like worked really well as far as like whoever was taking the time out to recover and then have the other two wrestle for a bit. I thought that Triple H kind of was the MVP of the match. He was kind of involved in most of the stuff that was going on. He was in the ring a lot, taking a lot of offense, especially near the end where he took the slingshot into the post, into the crowd. I thought that was a pretty cool spot to have instead of Benoit taking the pedigree on the steps. I thought if that had been done, that would be really uncomfortable. Speaking of uncomfortable, Benoit going for and missing the diving headbutt will never not be uncomfortable knowing what we know now. But yeah, I can't believe they did the Screwjob reference with Shawn Michaels and Benoit, and they even had the same referee come down. I think it was Earl Hebner came down as the replacement referee after Mike Shinoda got taken out. And yeah, just doing that whole thing put a load of heat on Shawn Michaels for more or less the rest of the match. The crowd were booing him out of the building whenever he was on top. And yeah, I thought as a finish, having Benoit do the sharpshooter made a lot of sense to tap Shawn Michaels out, even though, to be fair, at first Benoit didn't really look like he had it all in, like until he pulled Michaels back from the ropes. He kind of looked improperly, but one thing I did very much love about this was the fact that Triple H crawled back in from being taken out. Essentially, I think he was even a little bit bloody, and he was trying to crawl back into the ring to stop Michaels from tapping, and he just couldn't make it, which gave Benoit the win. I thought that was a really cool way of doing a finish for this kind of match, and yeah, it made Triple H look good even in defeat. It made Michaels look good because obviously he's one of the best, so he's not really going to look weak in defeat anyway, but having him tap out does a lot for Benoit. Honestly, Benoit looked great as well. I know like some people won't like me complimenting Benoit and stuff like that, but I'm just going to take from the match just from the match. But yeah, I thought this was a great match. I thought that it's not as good as their WrestleMania match. Their Mania match is arguably one of the best triple threats in WrestleMania history, arguably one of the better matches in WrestleMania history. But this was a pretty decent rematch. It kind of like was a good follow up to that, and it felt like the only way they could follow up to that match was by doing the triple threat again. But yeah, it was a really great way to kind of finish the show, have the hometown crowd very happy with Benoit getting the win, and it didn't seem like Benoit was going to lose the title that quickly anyway. So yeah, it's a very good way to finish the show off. So those are my thoughts and opinions on Backlash 2004. Do put down in the comments what you thought of the show. Did you enjoy it? Do you not like it? If there's a reason why you enjoyed or liked it, we can have a good conversation about it in the comments. Do leave a like and a comment about if you like this kind of thing, if you would like me to do more older pay-per-view like reviews or any that you would like to see me do in the comments. I'm kind of doing from like 2001 to 2019 for WWE, just because like it's where like the majority of my knowledge comes from, and I feel like there's a lot of very good pay-per-views in that time. And it kind of, I don't want to go into the pandemic because I really don't want to sit through the zero crowd stuff. And kind of pre-2000, I'm like pretty not that knowledgeable in, so I'm going to stay within what I know for now, and then maybe expand out like later on. But yeah, do let me know any pay-per-views you want me to do in the comments, or just your thoughts on the show overall. There is another one coming later on this month, or maybe even next month for AEW. I'm doing All Out 2021. But yeah, that's it. Any other pay-per-views you'd like me to do, put down in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, do leave a like. Do subscribe for more wrestling content, as there is a lot coming over the next few weeks with Backlash and Double or Nothing and Battleground and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, do stick around for all that. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you later.